are just pass outs from the AITD college, because we are closer in the north. So we recruited them and we started going to railways. Basically, this was more of railway projects, and we had to do right from design to production and to implement the composite parts, because Kaineco is a composite part manufacturing company. Here we got a project of a local train. How many of you have traveled in a local train Mumbai? Very few. Please do it, not today, but do it in your life, because local train is a different experience. Okay, so local train, we got a first project where we had to change the how the local train looks. Never been done. Okay, never been done. This is the first time, and we did a proto. Here also we worked very hard on the design, and it's very hard to convince the government officials, to get them to do a change. Okay, and finally after 5 months, this is how we transformed the local train. This is still running Churchgate to Virar Lady Special train. It was called Uttam Rekh. They did not do much more after that because the Vande Bharat and they had other priorities. But I think this design might come up in the next generation, maybe a decade later. I don't know, but it will come. And we did everything out of composites with a wood finish. A lot of innovation here, never been done before. And this was again a project which was again in the news everywhere. Okay, so that's what I say. If you do something with your heart, people appreciate and people will respect, and also you'll be proud of doing such things. These are only few things I wanted to show you. Okay, and I believe that the message is clear, that you have to prepare and you have to be honest, and whatever you do in life, do it with the intent of helping Goa, helping India, doing something for your country. That thing is important, whatever you do in life. Okay, and I do a lot of cycling, so a bit of slides on cycling, a hobby I like. Again, many years in cycling. I do a lot of cycling with awareness for drug abuse, for suicide, and for the HIV positive kids in Goa. A lot of work that we have done in the past. A lot of rallies we do. We have now more than thousands of cyclists in Goa, which was never there. I do photography. I used to do with a proper telezoom lens. Now with my mobile, because it has a function, but I never gave up on these hobbies, which is important. Okay, so yeah, so the change is always you. You are the guys who bring the change. Okay, so be proud of it, and I'm also very proud to be here in the event. Thank you so much for having me today. So we go on stage.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sumukh, for that insightful address. That set a great tone for the rest of the session. To take this conversation further and dive a little deeper into your journey, experiences, and perspectives, I would now like to invite you to join me on the stage for an interactive discussions. May I please request you to kindly come forward and take your seat?
Check.
So, sir, we'll keep this more of a conversation and less of an interview. So
That's better.
you'll be also more comfortable, and it will be a lot more fun for the audience.
Yes,
Okay.
that's okay.
So, to begin with, it is believed the choices we make early on quietly shape the rest of our lives. Taking you back a bit, was there any moment in your early days where you felt, okay, This is something I really enjoy, and that somewhere shaped the way you solve problems today.
I think I've answered this question before. That's why I like can answer this again quickly. Because in my life, after I did my mechanical, I worked with Unilever company in maintenance for a year, and after that, I did not know what to do. I absolutely did not know what to do, where to go, and one of my batchmates, again, that's why I say batchmates are important in your life. So um, he was going to IDC Powai, which is Industrial Design Center in IIT Powai, to answer an exam for the product design. So I went along with him and I answered the exam. I did not get through. He got through. So I am happy for him. But that moment, I did not want to come back to Goa. I just wanted to see what it is. And luckily, on the next day itself, I got through as a research associate in IDC under Professor Munshi, who is iconic product designer now and doing a lot of work. Is out of IIT now. But during that 1 year, 8 months, 1 year in IDC, I learned that passion for product design. I had that learning for detailing, for ergonomics, for things I never thought that existed in mechanical, because we were only doing thermal engineering and all this. Suraj sir knows all the theory at that time. We never had this exposure at that time, and everyone was exploring after what to do after 4 years. So this was a turning moment for me where I thought product design came in my life, and those few months taught me a lot, and I've been using that till now. I do a lot of design thinking coaching. I do a lot of innovation initiatives, and that is all coming from IIT. I'm glad and proud to say that a small thing in your life can be a career changing. So for me, that was, I think, the moment.
It's interesting how the small moments end up defining bigger journeys. I feel good decisions come from experience, and experience comes from bad decisions. When you're working on large scale projects, do you rely more on data, experience, or sometimes just gut feeling?
I think, again, let me speak from experience. You always have to collect data, and every project you have to see that the scope is very clear. The more precise the scope is, your project runs very smoothly. Okay, so data is important. What was the other part you said? Experience, right? So you have to use a lot of experience to things you do, because every project seems different, even if it is alike. So a bit of experience and a lot of gut feeling is important with experience, because you have to take some risks. You have to take some decisions for completing the projects. Okay, so just to answer your question, I think as you gain experience, I think you have to have the right mixture of the data, the experience you have from previous projects, and gut feeling. I think if you agree with me, all the startups and all the great guys up there, I think they use a lot of gut feeling because they are doing something new. So you have to have that balance in life. So yeah.
So your LinkedIn speaks about both innovation and structured processes. So if your team walks in with a completely crazy idea, are you the person who says, let's try it out, or let's first put a process around it?
You want a frank answer to this, because I do a lot of innovation sessions where we have to get crazy ideas, right? But if you see, when you work in organizations, you have to kind of analyze a lot of things. So when we do a brainstorming session, we have to go and analyze those ideas. We have to see in the market, what is working, not working. So a lot of analysis goes behind it. Till now, if I touch my heart, I have not, gone for a crazy idea, which I want to, because I think the next 20 years is something I want to do that.
So that balance probably plays a big role in what you're doing as well now. Yes.
Yes.
So now, if you had to give advice here to one honest reality check to our students, something about the industry, what would that be?
So I've already been proactive in showing what industry is like. I think a lot of data is already there on the on my slides. So I think people should kind of look into it. So I cannot tell you one instant, because you have to have different flavors, and that makes you a good individual, right? So that's what I believe in.
I think that's something everyone needed to hear here. But we learn a lot from others, but the best lessons come from experience. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I think the one advice I always give to the young students is the advice I have to give to me, right? To explore more, to learn more, because frankly speaking, engineering, we did not, do much innovation. We never went places. We never went to industry. We didn't know what an industry was. So that is something I felt I should have changed, and I should have explored more, and also find my passion early in life.
So that was a wonderful session, sir. I would like to throw the session open to the audience for any audience questions.
Yeah, there's
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, my name is Anushka, and I'm from the final year of computer engineering. So my question was, I recently actually saw your LinkedIn post where you spoke about Samay Raina's show, and how you tackled the fact that how a small change can completely change the trajectory, especially with the added media pressure, public perception, and all of that. So my question is, how do you, with the kind of experience that you have built the kind of mental resilience required to...
But I think I've understood your question. Okay. So actually, I also wanted to ask the audience, how many of you have seen the Samay Raina I'm Alive podcast? How many of you? Right? So I think it's evident that the more high you go, the more deep you will have in your life. And for me, it was something which touched my heart also. And the kind of low that people go through, even I go through a lot of low. It is not that everything is pretty and sunny, but I think the only thing that you should believe is this is this is just the phase. I think Bhushan in that said something, right? Ye aayega, ye jayega, ye pal jayega, something. So it is just a phase. It will pass. The darkest time in your life will just pass. You just need to be strong and believe that I can do it again. That's the only mindset you should have. Nothing is, impossible. The more you cry about it, it's not going to help, because you're not controlling things. The only thing you can do is just wait, have patience, and rise up in life. Okay, that's all we do. Okay, I hope it answers your question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's what Samay also is doing now, sir. I would like some questions from behind. Let's see. There. Okay, nice. Good.
Hi, sir. Good morning. My name is Pranav Kerkar, and I'm a student. So my question is, when leading a large team, how would you deal in a situation if there's a strong disagreement among the team? And also the decision needs to be made very quickly.
So I think every decision there is a conflict. There is no decision which goes through. So I'm used to it. And that is also something that you need to learn and also respect why people are not agreeing to your decision, right? And it's not that it's you're always right. So I always listen to people. I also listen why they are not agreeing to the idea, and I try to convince them why my idea is good. Egos aside, when egos come into the picture, then there are more conflicts. So I don't know, my nature is also like that. So but every time there is a conflict, so you have to manage around conflicts. You have to kind of see that ultimately the work gets done. And that's why I believe it's important that in your events also you work together as a team, because then you will know how to resolve conflicts. That's again coming from experience. You cannot resolve, or you be a good leader without that experience of actually resolving things. And that happens in everywhere, because for me, when I was working with Kineco, I had to deal with government officials, and they are the most difficult to convince. And that is something I learned, how I can always push my idea, how I can. That's why we made the local train, never been done before. 3 times it has been rejected, and that is what people bring to the table. And that is a kind of art you have to learn, maybe through conflict management as a training, but a lot of experience and how to deal with people.
Thank you, sir.
We can take one more question from the audience, if in case anybody. Anybody else would like to ask a question?
Maybe from this side, someone at the back. It's okay.
Okay, anyways.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sumukh, for sharing your experiences and insights with us. It was truly a valuable and engaging conversation. As a gesture of gratitude, we would like to present you, sir, with a memento.
Yes, thank you.
Without further ado, I would now like to hand over the session to our next moderator, Ms. Juveria Sheikh.
Inviting our two speakers, the HOD, the registrar, for a quick photograph.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Juveria Sheikh, and I'll be your moderator for this session. So today we have with us a well-known entrepreneur from Goa, Ms. Asha Annoykar, who is very well known for her journey from pharmaceuticals to wellness and social entrepreneurship. She completed her master's in clinical biochemistry with a gold medal. At the age of 19, she started her first business venture, which later expanded into pharma manufacturing and exports. She later transformed into wellness, bringing VLCC to Goa, and founded the Satwa Spa and Saloon. Her social entrepreneurship venture, Global to Local, a supermarket in Panjim, was founded in 2020 that supports over 100 of rural women and self-help groups, helping them achieve financial independence. So I want you all to welcome Ms. Asha Annukar with a huge round of applause.
Yes. Good morning to all of you. And if some of you can shift in the front, I think it would be nice. Okay. So, thank you so much for having me here this morning. I mean, it's such an honor and pleasure, and I always love when I'm with students. It's such a nice energy to be with all of you here. And the name that you have given this program, Dream Big, I think you've stolen my mantra because this has always been my mantra. I always have been saying this to everybody and myself, that dream big. Dream with your eyes open, because dreams do come true. Of course, there is only one, replacement to hard work, and that's smart work. So you got to do that all the time. Today, all of you here are engineering students. I'm not from an engineering background. I come from a science background, but still I'm a part of STEM. And let me tell you one thing, when I talk about STEM, today our government, our finance minister in her recent budget has announced very big, amount of support if you are all going for higher studies in STEM, especially to the women, to the girls out here. So use this funds, what you get from the government, go for your higher studies, your masters, your PhDs, go ahead and do that, use it. Because all of you, your degree gives you knowledge. But when you step out there, what the world looks at, what the industry looks at, is how you apply that knowledge, how you adapt to that, And as students, you all are always solving well-defined problems, but out there, it's it's unclear, it's tough. At times, it's even messy because there are no perfect solutions. There are only better solutions. So see that you train your mindset, you have a great attitude. Your college is always already preparing you to face the industry, today, because so you need to choose. All of you go for internships. Choose your internships well. Choose it with purpose. Do good projects and network with the industries. I mean, this is one such platform where you get to network with the industry people, resource people. So do that, because these are the things which will speak much louder in your resumes when you walk into that world. So let me share my journey with you. It may encourage you to be an entrepreneur or probably discourage you. So I started at the age of 19. I come from a very conservative family. Nobody in my family, no girl ever studied beyond graduation. And nobody did their post-graduation. Everybody got married at the age of 21, 22, nothing beyond that. And in generations of my family, because I come from a defense background, nobody even knew the B of business. So there I was, my father, a doctor, wanted me to be a doctor. I couldn't get into MBBS, so he said, okay, do something allied. So I decided to choose biochemistry, went to Pune for my studies. At the age of 19 in college, I was, I just saw something on the notice board which said a guest lecture was happening in the college. And I said, okay, let me attend this. I went to attend that, and it was none other than Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, who's the richest lady in Asia right now. And she was lecturing us. She had just started her fermentation technology company, Biocon, then. And she was telling about all the challenges she faced as a woman in this industry, because at that time it was a male-dominated industry. And something But that was the turning point of my life. And I decided that I want to be a businesswoman too. Called up my father in Goa and I said, you know what, forget medics. I'm going to be a businesswoman. And he said, pack your bags and come back. You're not doing this. And yet, being the younger one, I was a rebel child. So I chose to stay back. So there was this product which I was using because I did a research project during my college. And there was a product which we used for analysis in the laboratory. And this product was imported. It was sold in India through distributors, but nobody ever gave service. So once it's over, it's gone. We had to, indent for it again, wait for weeks and months, and our projects got disturbed. So I spoke to two of my friends in the campus who were doing their MBA, and I said, let's start a business with this product by giving it service. And they said, how are you going to manage it? I said, leave it up to me. So we approached a dealer in Mumbai and went to him and we said, you know what, we would like to sell this product for you. And he said, okay. He looked at us, three young, students who have come to him, and he said, okay, you can do that, but I keep Mumbai and Pune because he had the dealership for Maharashtra, and you guys do rest of Maharashtra. And rest of Maharashtra meant Nasik, Aurangabad, even places, remote places like Patal Ganga. But we jumped at the offer, because opportunities don't knock twice. So we started our trading company. My father didn't speak to me for 2 years. So one of my friends, my partner's father, he loaned us 50,000 rupees. We started our journey with that. And believe me, we kind of, in 1 year, we established a nice network of pharmaceutical companies. But then later, after 1 year, he called us and he said, okay, I'm discontinuing because we had already developed the market for him. What next? Okay, there was a exhibition happening in Munich in Germany. I was the only one out of the three who had a passport. So I had to fly to Germany. I met companies there and I came back with 3 exclusive distributorship for the same product for India. So we were growing, we hired more people. 2 years down the line, we had established selling this product across India. We said, what next? Next is manufacturing. So we set up, we spoke to those people from whom we were importing. We collaborated. The Swedish company agreed to manufacture in India in collaboration. So we set up a manufacturing unit in Pune and we started manufacturing this product. After 2 years, we decided, now what next? So we said, okay, we have to export. So we set up another manufacturing unit in Surat in the special economic zone, and we started exporting this product. So this was the journey, entire journey of this pharmaceutical product that we had. We really grew into a very big company, and then marriage happened, and I wanted to come back to my roots in Goa. So I came back. My husband was into construction. I said, I need to do something in my field. So we set up a pharmaceutical research company in Verna in Goa. I was doing it very well. And then, you're once an entrepreneur, the bug is always there in you as an entrepreneur. So I used to go back for my wellness needs to Pune because I thought, Goa didn't offer very good grooming centers. So just by chance, I happened to tell them, why don't you start in Goa? And then they said, why don't you do it? So from pharma, I took a back seat and I stepped into wellness. Wellness was a booming industry then. I said, okay, let me do this. So I opened the franchisee of VLCC, which was a beauty and grooming company. And I opened 2 franchisees in Margao and Panjim. I started liking the field and I said, okay, I'm going to stay in wellness now. And then I thought this is a franchisee. I need to have my own brand. So I created, 2 years after that, I created my own brand called Sattva Salon and Spa, started opening everywhere. Just before the pandemic, we had 14 branches and then pandemic happened. So everything crashed. So business is never a straight graph up. It's always ups and downs. And that is what you actually appreciate when you look back at your journey. So everything shut down and I had free time on my hands because my business was shut down for 2 years, not just for 1 year because of the pandemic. And that was the time I thought I should help these women in Goa because they made really good products. So we started, because I also started getting calls from these women saying, we need financial help, our finances have dried up. And I personally thought that if I help them with just finance, it could be just for a day, a month, a week maybe. We need to do something permanent for them. We need to make them financially independent. So we got them to make these products, authentic local Goan products. And we set up a platform which is called Global to Local, because what I say is you need to be global, but you need to support local. So we started with 20 plus women across Goa. Today, we are supporting more than 120 local rural women and self-help groups. So this is like been my journey from pharma to wellness to retail. For you engineering students, technology is changing every day. Even we have to adapt to it, you know. And it's like all of you are aware of artificial intelligence, robotics, data analytics. There is sustainability, there is green technology, and there is entrepreneurship. There are entrepreneurs like us. So you have so much to choose from. So choose one area, dive deep, and learn from it, you know, because this is what you need to have, a great attitude. You have to have the attitude for gratitude. You need to be adaptable. You need to be accountable. These are some of the things you need to develop. And that is what is going to make you stay out there in a world for a very, very long period. There is going to be team building. You'll meet people from different walks of life. You need to adjust with them. You need to adapt with that. This is all so important, you know, because y'all are not just engineers in making. Y'all are creators. And y'all are the future change makers. So you need to be strong. You need to build, and not just build alone. You need to take people with you and soar. And that is what matters. So if you're choosing entrepreneurship, see that you choose purpose along with your venture. That is so important to create an impact in the world you're living in. So that's all from me. I wouldn't take time because we are running short of time. Thank you very much once again for having me here. And let me tell you, don't wait to start. There is no perfect time. You are never ready. Just jump into it, and it will be the perfect time, and you will become ready. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, ma'am, for insightful words. I now would like to begin with the session. Hello, ma'am. I hope you're doing great.
Very, very well, and very happy being here.
It's an honor for me to be your moderator for today's event.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, ma'am, at the age of 19, where most of us are actually deciding what to eat and where to go, you started with your own business. So, how were the early experiences helped you in shaping your journey?
Well, I think, one thing was very nice because I was young. So there was a fearlessness in me. So I could, when I saw her talking, Kiran Majumdar talking, I thought, wow, this is so exciting, this is so challenging, and I just jumped into it. So that was one thing. But I did face challenges because I looked so young and I was very young. So for people, and especially in a technical field, for people to believe in me, that took time. But once they understood that the gray matter was there, deep embedded, it was easier then. So yes, when I look back, absolutely, it's a beautiful journey.
That's actually a powerful start, and it really shows your confidence.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, you said that you started your own business brand that is global to local. So, what were the challenges you faced, while establishing it? Like, making the women to work for you, because most of the women are not ready. So, how did you overcome this?
Yes, the biggest challenges was motivation for them, to make them believe in themselves and in their skills. So that was important. And initially their families, most of their families of these women did not support them, So it was difficult to, but once they realized that this is not just a one-time affair, it's going to be a constant finance empowerment to them, then their families also supported them, and it was easy for them. And the second challenge we faced was logistics and, establishing a supply chain throughout the, interiors of Goa. But yes, we managed to, go through that as well. Thank you.
It's inspiring to see, ma'am, how you turned your challenges into opportunities.
Yeah, that's very important, because that's what we need to think. Like I said, opportunities don't, knock your door twice. So when it comes, jump at it.
Ma'am, you have received many awards till date. So how do these recognitions mean to you?
Well, they make you happy, but I personally feel that they also come with an added responsibility, a responsibility to do more, to focus more. It's so important, because it's like a mission that you take forward. Personally, I would not like to be an influencer or to be under the spotlight, but instead empower others and light 1,000 lamps, perhaps.
It's truly a very good thing to hear from you. It shows how grounded and purpose-driven you are. So, ma'am, you manage so many things together. So how do you remove time for yourself, your family?
Yeah, I do play multiple roles, but you know what? People talk about balancing roles, but when you try to balance something, it lands up being imbalanced. So instead, if you prioritize your work, I personally integrate all my responsibilities, and then I prioritize them, And it is so important. If the key word here is delegation. If you know to delegate, it's very easy to do everything you want to do in life.
I guess, ma'am, we all need to learn from you how to manage that. So, ma'am, any hobbies you have? What do you do in free time?
I'm very passionate about traveling. I think I've already crossed 50 countries. I hope to do 100. And I love reading. Yes, and I also play sport. I play table tennis, and we play it very often. Yes, thank you.
So, since you told you're in table tennis, you played in nationals or state level?
No. This is something which I learned later in life. And yes, recently we also had tournaments for our age group, and I won it. Yes, so that was like a big achievement, because when you start late in life and then you play a sport, and it just contributes to your health, both mental and physical.
And what legacy do you hope to create in the future?
I have a mantra besides dreaming big, and that is, like when I started my business, I was just reading balance sheets. It was all about profit. Then from profits, I moved to purpose. And then from purpose, I have now moved to impact. I do a lot of work for women empowerment, and I hope to create a legacy of empowered women and empowered youth behind me. That is something I look at. Thank you, sir.
That's a very beautiful vision. So, ma'am, any message you would like to give to our young entrepreneurs over here?
Believe in yourself and build together. It's very, very important to stay focused and to, look around and learn. The world is constantly changing, so you have to constantly learn, unlearn, and relearn. Remember this, okay? And if you do that, and if you know what you want in life, you have dreamt about it, just put it out to the universe, and you will definitely be where you want to be and where you have to be.
I think, ma'am, everybody over here will carry this message, what you have given them. Now I open the question to the audience.
I think they understood everything what I said.
Anybody in the audience?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
I'm Sean Fernandez from Com2, SECom2. Ma'am, the speech which you gave, what I understood is you have an incredible ability to convince people. And I wanted to know, how does it work, like, in your mind? Like, first you convince those two people from their MBA to partner with you for your business, which is crazy already. You all went to the dealer and you all convinced him also. And 1 year he just backed out. So then you had to say, okay, let me just go to Germany and let me just convince these people to make a dealership with India. And like, you're like so young, and like, what was going on in your mind? Like, how did you go there and, convince them?
Thank you, Sean. It's self-belief. It's believing in yourself and believing in your ideas. When you have convinced yourself, it's very easy to go out and convince anything else because they will believe you then. Okay. So you got to work it out first yourself and believe in the idea that, yes, this is going to work. This is the next step ahead. And when you believe and you're convinced yourself, you can convince others very easily and they will believe in you.
Okay. It's like not giving up on yourself, but like trying to convince them.
Never give up. Never give up. That giving up is the easiest thing in life. Okay. Everybody runs away from problems and challenges. But standing there, facing it, and overcoming it gives you a bigger joy. So when you look back, your journey may be full of ups and downs, but it's a beautiful journey and you feel very proud of yourself. Okay? So always feel proud of yourself.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience?
Ma'am, a very special question. Since the tagline is global to local, in the next few years, how will you like to redefine this tagline, global to local? Or what are you looking after a few years? How this will change about?
Definitely, this is a startup, but scale up is on my mind. So today, these women are not able to scale up because they are doing things from their homes. So my next step would be to establish a platform, a facility where we can scale it up, add quality to it, add reproducibility and consistency, and make most of these products as export products and take Goa on the global map, because we really have great products in Goa. Yes.
Ma'am, could you share some few insights? Like when you were sharing the journey, you spoke about the VLC product which is there. Could you share more details about it? We will really like to hear like what is actually going up in the Verna company, as you said.
In VLCC, it was all about, weight loss, because that is something everybody looks at nowadays, being fit, being healthy, looking good, feeling good. So that is very important. And coming to the Verna company, we were a research company. So we were helping out the pharmaceutical companies to, do their research products in all the drugs. So we were in the preclinical trial stages. So we help them, decide whether this drug is ready to go out in the market. So they outsource the research projects to us, and that is what we were doing in these companies. But yes, for all of you, if you can practice some kind of spiritual technique, it's very, very important. It could be yoga, anything to do with, so that like I personally practice spiritual techniques, and I always have my hand, heart, and my head aligned. So it makes you, it gives you a clarity, it makes you focus more, and, it helps you in your life so much to just relax. Yes.
Ma'am, I have one question. It's nice to hear your story, and especially you are now into global to local. My question is, how you define success, and at what point did you consider global to local successful?
Success for me is not individual. I realized that it was a successful venture when the mission was supporting these 100 plus women to be financially independent and empowered, because it was not just about them, it was about their families, about their communities later. So that was so for me, it's a joint effort. Success is not individual. It is when you have a purpose in life and you're trying to create the impact you want to create, you create that. And global to local, like I said, the number of women that have been increasing from 20 to now 120 plus is, I think, very successful. And the fact that we are now an online platform and we cater to the entire nation and every part of the nation. So I think, yes, that's very successful. It's partial mission accomplished.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And wish you all the best for Global to Local. And do you have any outlet in Panjim? Or
Yes, we have a physical outlet. It's a small store. It's a boutique store.
So where I can personally come and
definitely.
Thank you so much. Have
Thanks
a great
for time.
day. Yes.
We sincerely thank you, man, for such an engaging and inspiring session. Your journey has been given a valuable insight into entrepreneurship and social impact. As a token of appreciation, we would like to present a memento.
Thank you for having me here.
Now I would like to invite our next moderator, Mr. Srinivas Namdar, to take over the stage.
Check. Some people follow paths, some create them, and a very few redefine them for everyone else. Our next speaker is someone who has done exactly the same. Good morning, everyone. My name is Srinivas Inamdar, and I'll be your host for this session. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our next eminent speaker. He's not just an entrepreneur, but a technologist with a purpose. As the founder of Inclusive, he's working at the intersection of innovation and inclusion, building solutions that are shaping a more accessible digital world. But what truly sets him apart is not just what he has built, it's the mindset with which he has built it. Turning challenges into strength and vision into impact, he represents what it truly means to dream big and act on it. Today, we are not just welcoming a speaker, we are welcoming a perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our next speaker on the stage of Dreambig 2026, Mr. Ankur Kankonkar. Okay. I request sir to kindly address the gathering. Lectern? Podium, yeah? No. Hello? Yeah, I think this is good. Am I audible, everyone? Right at the back?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Let's go. Let's see how many of you are actually awake. How many of you have drifted off? This is what I do everywhere I go before I speak. I do like a loud greeting. I think it's still good morning, right? I mean, it's not past 12, is it? Still good morning. So I'll do a good morning. I want to hear a good morning back. If I feel it's pathetic, I'm not going to continue. Yeah? Okay. So let's go. Good morning, Don Bosco. I think that was a little, low. Let's try once again. See, this noise has to reach Chogle College, maybe the entire Margao city. Yeah? Let's wake up a few, sleeping souls. Let's try again. Good morning, Don Bosco. Thank you so much. That was much better, right? See, look, I don't have display, so I have to rely on sound. Yeah? I think he didn't mention it in the introduction, but I prefer being called blind. I'm totally blind. I cannot see a thing. I'll tell you about my journey, how I came here, what I did and all of that. And what do you want to take out from you at the entire journey? I'll leave it up to you. Okay, I'm not going to tell you take out these 3 things or these 5 things, right? So I was born in a small village called Kinle in Karnakona. That's how I have my surname. It's Karnkonkar. I've been called a lot of things, right? From Kakodkar to Kakonkar to all kinds of things, which is not correct. It's Karnkonkar. I'm from Karnakona, right? Okay, so I did my schooling and everything back home in Karnakona in a school called Katyani Baneshwar Vidyalaya. This is back when I could still see. So I was born sighted. Being one of the most, talented kids, I would call myself talented because I could do a lot of things like theater, elocution, quiz competition, and always good at studies, right? So that nerd kid who used to sit on the first bench wearing glasses and always be in the top 3, I was one of those, yeah? But I also did a lot of other things like sports, cricket being my first love, Sachin Tendulkar, my first god, right? Then switched to football when I, came here for my higher secondary studies in Margao. I joined Chogle College. That's when I fell in love with football, and Manchester United became my next love, and the love that has lasted all other loves, by the way. Yeah, not a good time to be a United supporter these days, but yeah, we still perceive and we still see someday we will win the title again, right? Yeah. So glory, glory, Man United. That's when I fell in love with football, like I said. And when I came to, study in my higher secondary in Chogules, I fell out of love with studies. Yeah. So it was a difficult shift for me coming from a village environment to, living in a flat, adjusting to city life. Because let me tell you, for a boy born in Karnakona, right, Margao was aspirational. Yeah. Margao was our New York. Yeah. And I thought of, I completely did not like the environment. I fell out of love with studies. And so instead of topping from, this forward, I started topping from the bottom. Right? Eventually, I failed my 12th grade exam in physics. Yeah. It was a difficult time. I had lost complete interest in studies. Somehow next year I answered my 12th grade again, and then I got admission into a Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Degrees program. Now if you ask me what I was doing there, I have absolutely no clue. I'd only done it because all my friends had done it. Dropped math in 12th grade, and what are the options after you drop math? Are pretty, basic. You all are engineering people here, so you all are math students, I assume, right? So someone told me math is difficult, so I just left it. Yeah. Second year of B Pharma is when my life took an absolute turn, not for the worst, but for the good is what I would say, because this is when my eyesight sort of started degrading. So I suffer from a retina condition called retinitis pigmentosa. It's a congenital eye condition, has no treatment all across the globe. We tried everything from Ayurveda, allopathy, sending my papers abroad, visiting the best hospitals in India, abroad, everywhere, but there is absolutely no treatment for this condition, right? So there came a time where I was losing my sight. There was nothing I could do. I was losing my confidence, losing hope, losing everything. Within the period of 1.5 years, I went from about 80-85% sight to absolutely nothing. It was a stage where, of complete darkness. Like I went through a depression. I dropped out of college. I did nothing for almost, a year and a half. It was just about survival, one breath at a time. I didn't know what was in store for me, right? Now, this is where
somebody introduced me to something called a screen reader, and that's how technology actually saved my life, and gave me a purpose. A screen reader basically is nothing but a piece of software that once you install on your system, like your laptop, your mobile devices, etc., your systems basically start talking to you. It's called text to speech for all you computer science nerds out there. Okay, TTS. So Google has something called TalkBack, and Android has TalkBack. Windows has something called NVDA and JAWS. Apple has something called VoiceOver, right? So these come inbuilt. So I learned how to, operate all of these systems just using sound. And mind you, you can do a lot of things just by using sound. Like I learned how to, type out in Word, use Excel, then learned how to program myself, and then realized, computer science is something probably that I can do as a blind person. Because I read a story of another blind guy who became India's first blind guy to study science in 12th grade, because people were not even aware that, blind people could study science, right? But he wanted to study engineering, and he wanted to study in an IIT, but IIT did not give him admission because they didn't know how to cope with a blind student. I don't blame the IITs, because they had no clue how this is supposed to be done. Right? Now we have the policies, we have the infrastructure, we have the tech to do this now. But back then in 2011, 12, there was nothing. So the guy went to Stanford, US, got a bachelor's, master's degree, and today he's working in Microsoft, and a very good friend of mine today. His name is Karthik Sani. I read his story on the internet, and I was like, wow, can a blind person also do something like this? I thought blind person were, best at doing maybe basket weaving, candle making, etc., because that's what we were told that you could do as a blind person. I said, this is so cool. I want to do this. So the first thing that you need, if you want to study a computer science degree, is a math subject in 12th grade. And if you remember about 3 minutes back, I said, I dropped math because all my friends had dropped it, right? So I'm not eligible, which means I had to write all kinds of letters to the board, multiple visits saying that, you know what, sir, please give me a chance. Answer 12th grade math. Again, I want to study computer science. So finally they agreed, they gave. And I had to study math as a blind person now. So you understand, math studying as a sighted person is difficult at best, right? So studying it as a blind person was even more difficult. But I persevered, if that's the word. And somehow I cleared my 12th grade with a writer and everything. And then I went to Chogle College saying that, you know what, you are a premier college in Goa. Please give me admission for BSc Computer Science. They said, you know what, we don't know how to really cope with a blind person. Why not you go to the university? University was like, you know what, we can't give you admission. The college has to give you admission. So go back to the college. And college sent me back to the university, university back to the college, and so on. Until a point, I think they were not ready to take ownership, accountability, or what, I don't know. Okay, but I just kept on doing this until I got fed up. And I said, you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to do something about it myself. So I met the chancellor. I told him, you know what, sir, I've been doing these rounds, up and down, and I want a resolution to this. So give me admission somewhere. If I can't do it, I'm not going to blame the college or the system. I'm going to take responsibility myself. So finally, they gave me admission to Chogle College. Now, I'm very lucky to say this. Wherever I've gone, I've made some amazing friends, some amazing teachers, some amazing people have come in my life. So that happened with me in Chogle as well. I got some bunch of amazing friends, amazing teachers who said, you know what, let's take this up as a challenge. So I was given my study material in accessible format, which I could read with my screen reader. I was allowed a reader-writer for my physics and mathematics papers, and I could type out my exam papers for computer science, which was the first of its kind, right? So first year happened, I got a distinction, and that's when I realized, you know what, I can do this. So second year happened, third year happened. I had already decided I was going to, major in computer science, and through sheer hard work, determination, and everything else, blood, sweat, and real tears, mind you. In the final year, I scored 94.5%, and I taught the entire university in 2017. Thank you so much. I never leave a chance to brag about this anywhere I go, by the way. And this was not going to be an exception, because this is something I'm going to brag about until the day I die. right? This is the biggest achievement of my academic career. It became big news. You can Google Goa and Konkan. You'll still get the articles probably back from 2017. It became big news. Blind guy tops university. And when I say tops university, I topped the entire 9 streams of BSc, right? From computer science, physics, math, etc., right? So the same people who were like, how are you going to cope? How are you going to do all of that? Were the first ones to say, Ankur, you know what? We always knew you could do this. You had the talent. I like, nice. So, the first lesson I want you to take away from here is, if you want to shut up your doubters, you got to prove yourself with action, not with words. Right? So then I got like a master's degree in information technology, again from Chocolate College. And 2019, I said, a couple of friends I convinced of mine and said, you know what, let's start up something of our own, because I didn't want to work for anyone. I'm a Gemini, by the way, so I find it very difficult to take orders from anyone. I'm also, someone who once starts talking, cannot stop. So they told me you get 10 minutes. I'm like, I take about 10 minutes just to set the tone. So you know what? I'm going to wrap up in the next 2 to 3 minutes. But I said to my friends, you know what? Let's start a company, because I don't want to do a job. Right? So I convinced 2 other people to join me, both cited, of course. And we started a company that was called Caps Lock at the time. Don't even ask me how I got that name. It sucks, I know. Caps Lock with a K. That was my innovation, really. Biggest K for Can't Conquer, probably. Yeah. So capslock.in. I think the website is still alive because I renew the domain every year. It's my first baby, so you just can't let it go just like that, right? And then came COVID in 2020, and it had other plans, right? So businesses were affected. A lot of our clients, said we don't have the money to pay you guys. So we had to make a call whether we want to continue or we want to shut it down. Eventually, my 2 other co-founders said, you know what, we've had enough. We wanted to go our separate ways, and we still are on talking terms, so that's at least good, right? So we didn't break up badly. Yeah, we said, okay, let's go our separate ways. And I had a choice to make, whether I'm going to continue this or I'm going to give up on my entrepreneurial dream, right? So I said, you know what, let's continue. So I set up a new firm. It is called Konkani Technologies Private Limited, but there are 2 brands under it. Today, it's called Anklytics, and the other brand is Inclusive. I'll be speaking about that in my couch side talk, or whatever you call it, fireside chat. Yeah. So I started, a tech firm concentrated on building software products. And we started getting clients from Goa, from India, and finally from abroad. Like my friend that I told you about, the blind friend called Karthik Sani, he went on to become like a UN ambassador. And one fine day he called me saying that, Ankur, there's a project for the United Nations. Are you want to take it up? I'm like, serious? Are you like, dude, are you serious? The United Nations, and we are like a team of 3 or 5 people. Can we handle this? And he's like, Ankur, you have to make a call. You want to take this or not? So I took a day and I said, you know what? Sometimes when opportunity knocks at your door, you need to open the door, right? So we took it on. It became a success. That's when I first came across something called accessibility. Accessibility basically means how you can make your platforms, digital, physical, etc., usable by everyone, including persons with disabilities, like myself, right? Now, if I tell you, blind people can use computers, a lot of people don't believe me. They ask me, how are you going to do that and all. Probably I'm going to show you that in my outside talk. But yes, that was the turning point of my career. And then from there, we went on to be, work with the government, work with international clients all across the globe. Eventually, we set up a company in the UAE last year, year before last rather, 2024. I was awarded like the best disabled employer award and all of that comes with success, right? So all of that happened. But what I'm going to tell you is it all started with a dream. And your theme here is dream big, right? That's a theme, correct? Yeah. Dream big. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you something. You don't need eyesight to dream. And you don't need eyesight to have a vision, because sight, remember, is what you can see with your eyes, but vision is something that you can see with your mind. And remember, the only person who can control your mind is you, right? So a lot of people will be telling you, you know what, you're not cut out to do this, or you're not cut out to do that. You know what? Just spin it all. Remember that inner voice that tells you what you need to do. You always start with dreaming big, because if you can dream big, right, You can do something substantial in this world. Don't dream small, because if you dream small, you'll end up making something smaller. Yeah, and there's no time for making smaller things. So let's go. This is my journey. My Instagram handle is called The Blind Legend. I know it's in your face marketing, but that's what I prefer, in your face. I am blind, but I can see better than most people is what I'm gonna tell you. And to dream big, you don't need sight, you don't need anybody's permission. So you know what? If anybody tells you you're not cut out to dream big, you can start with yourself. Shut them up with your own actions. Remember one more thing before I go. So talent, sometimes, a lot of people say we need talent to succeed and all of that. I agree, but you need resilience, which will help you, take your game to the next level. One line that I have crafted myself, remember, talent helps you start, but resilience helps you finish. So always remember that, yeah? So I am Ankur, can't conquer. It's been great. You've been a great audience. You've clapped at the right moments, and you stayed silent at the other moments. I appreciate that. Let's continue the chat on the couch. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, sir, for that inspiring, insightful, and thought-provoking session. To take this conversation forward and deep dive in our journey, I request you to kindly join us on the couch for the further session.
Hello, yeah. Thanks. Yes, sure. Okay.
Sure. So I hope you're comfortable.
Yes, you're here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect.
Right next to you.
Yeah, sure.
So once again, I welcome you on the stage over here on the Dreambig 2026.
Thank you.
So first of all, from my side, I would really appreciate the journey. What you had shared was really inspiring.
Thank you.
It was very motivating session. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
So before we dive into serious side of the things, I came across something that I mentioned LinkedIn and also mentioned on the stage right here.
Yeah.
That you're defending Manchester United's honors and someone has to. Now I'll be honest, I don't know much about football.
Okay.
But how many times have you said that this is our season and meant it?
Ouch. When you sent me a questionnaire list, I think this was not one of the questions.
No, this was a secret question.
No, I mean, it's been, quite some time since we last one, 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back when I could see, right? So yeah, I think probably next season is going to be our season. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Okay. That's great to hear indeed.
Yeah.
So now let us move to the professional section, sir.
Sure.
Building on that, your journey from being a computer science topper to working on accessibility at such a deep level is really quite unique. What led you to move from understanding this problem to actually building like a solution inclusive?
Okay. So see, this is a problem I face every single day, right? So I'm a user of my own solution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me tell you, some of the best companies out there that were built, right, were actual problems that were faced by founders. Yeah. Like, for example, Facebook was built by Zuckerberg because he got bored and he wanted to do something like, where he could get people connected on a platform, right? So inclusive basically means include for inclusion, and seer is someone who can see beyond sight, right?
Okay.
Accessibility in one line, if I have to tell you, is how do you make digital platforms, like for example, let's say you have a website, you have a mobile app. Mm-hmm. How can you make it usable by everyone, including persons with disabilities like me? Mm-hmm. Someone who uses a screen reader, someone who uses a magnifier, someone who uses a braille display, right? Someone who is dyslexic, someone who is neurodiverse, someone who is autistic, for example. They all need to use your platforms. Okay, so I'll tell you something. There's something called Right for Persons with Disabilities Act, RPWD, that was passed by India in 2016. and it's currently being enforced at a lot of different levels, and a lot of companies who are not compliant with the act are getting fined, including educational institutions, healthcare companies, government, finance platforms, etc., etc. So all essential services, for that matter, need to be accessible and need to comply with this law, right? So I said, you know what, this is a problem I face every single day. For example, if I go to an HDFC app, it's broken, I cannot use it anymore. I could use it say 2-3 months back, but suddenly they have released some new feature, I cannot use it anymore. I have to rely on somebody else to do my payments. Can you believe that? It's financial services, right? I mean, it's so private, but I can't use it myself. So I was like, companies need to be made aware about this. In the first thing, that accessibility is now a mandate. It is a compulsory thing that everybody has to do. If not, you're going to get fines. You're going to get dragged on social media, so your reputation is going to go through the mud. And it is also an operational risk. Like, for example, let's say I can't use a healthcare app and I don't have anybody to help me, then I'm at risk, right? I might even lose my life. So accessibility is not just a small thing. It is like it affects everybody's right to live. And that's what I decided I'm the best person to solve this, because I face this problem every single day being blind, right? So that's how Inclusier was born.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like, that's really interesting. I think the shift from understanding a problem to actually solving it is where everything changes.
Yes.
And thank you for enlightening us more on accessibility features, like what can be implemented for further products or companies.
Yes.
So moving on, you started working closely with digital systems.
Yeah.
What were some real gaps or failures that made you realize accessibility is still largely ignored?
Yeah, sure. So we have developed a tool, our own tool, okay, a scanner, what we call IncluScan. So what it does, you put in the URL, it goes, scans a site and tells you what are the accessibility issues on that particular website. Okay, so there is something called WCAG, Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Okay, you people can go check out about it, read about it. So these are guidelines that are given to make any app or website, usable and accessible. But a lot of developers who are developing don't follow this. Maybe they're not aware. Maybe they think this is a little bit of hassle. All of those are myths. Okay, it's very easy to make your platforms accessible. Okay, but when we actually scanned a lot of the websites, right, we found there's so many accessibility gaps. Secondly, from my own experience, like I told you, HDFC app is a prime example. I did a post on LinkedIn that went to a lot of people. Even HDFC got in touch with me saying that, what, how can we fix this, how can we do this, right? So day-to-day usage, I'll give you another example. Zomato was not accessible at all until they got a huge lawsuit, right? They were fined by the government, by the Chief Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities, and now they are working on accessibility.
Yes.
So India being India, and I'm going to use this, Indians only understand the language of fines, right? So until you're fined, you're not going to do anything, right? So we are telling people, what, these gaps exist, the laws are there, so why wait for a fine to fix it, right?
Yeah.
Why not fix it before that? And accessibility is good for your business because it opens up doors to a lot more customers. It also helps with your SEO, because if you check this tool called Google Lighthouse, it ranks websites also based on accessibility. Accessibility is the second parameter. The first one is performance. Accessibility is second, followed by best practices and SEO. So it improves your SEO, improves everything, improves marketing. So why don't you do it just as a business lever, right? Not just as a CSR or a charity kind of a thing. Yeah. So that we realize, there is so much gap out there. I'll throw in another example. Our own government ka website, the Goa Online Services, is not accessible. I told the CM, what? You say inclusive Goa by whatever 2030. Your own website is not inclusive, mate. Yeah. And we often, hear about this term, right? Inclusive. We are inclusive. Probably you might have heard it used in Don Bosco as well. We are an inclusive educational institution. Are you? So that's the question we need to ask, right? Is your infrastructure, physical, digital, is it usable by everyone? If not, then you're not inclusive. So that's what made us realize. This is a big problem.
Yes, I would not comment on the Don Bosco section.
You still have to probably spend another couple of years here.
I still have one more year to go right now.
Cool.
That actually makes things sound a lot more complex than we usually assume, and probably something we tend to overlook.
Yes.
So moving on.
Yeah.
You now work closely with CXOs and large organizations.
Yes.
what do you think accessibility is still treated as a checklist rather than something that is integrated into core decision making?
Yeah, it's a checklist. It's a checklist. I'll tell you, like big companies, right? For example, Apple, Microsoft. These companies treat accessibility as something they want to do right from the start. So these companies are what I call accessible by design. So even before they launch an iPhone, for example, right? They make sure this phone is usable by everyone. Like I use an iPhone. Yeah, there's a feature called voiceover on it.
Yes.
Turn it on, it starts talking to you, right? Someone with low vision, there's something called color contrast mode that you can switch on. For someone who cannot hear, someone who cannot talk, right? There are caption features. So you know what? They think about accessibility right at the start. Microsoft, like Word, Excel, etc. They made it accessible right from the start because they wanted their platforms to be used by a lot of countries and with by a lot of different kinds of people, right? So they made accessibility like a default, not a checklist. But when it comes to our own firms, of course, I said lack of awareness and all of that is there, but they still treat accessibility means it's going to help persons with disabilities. That's all. So I was speaking to one of the founders of an e-commerce brand, and he was like, "We don't get disability customers, man." I'm like, "How do you know? I might be trying to use your website, and because it is not usable, I've dropped off. How do you know I'm not your user? You have not even given me a chance to become your customer, right? Even before me coming and using your platform, you're saying, you know what, we are filtering here, we are excluding you. So how can I become your customer?" So they think, you know what, this is just for disabled customers. What about senior citizens? What about temporarily disabled people? And I'll give an example. Let's say I don't want to I don't wish it on anyone. Let's say somebody meets with an accident, yeah, and can't use their hand for, let's say, a month. He's disabled. He's disabled temporarily,
Yes.
right? Let's say you have an eye operation, you cannot see for a week. You are temporarily disabled. What are you going to do? You realize this, right? So you have to depend on others for you to take care of. So disability is not permanent, it can also be temporary. So we need to take care of these things. So it's still a checklist, and I think with the act, with a lot of fines happening, with a lot of awareness happening, it's totally going to be like a default going forward. One last example I'm going to give you. Netflix is one of the best examples of inclusion. Okay, I watch Netflix all the time, and you might be asking, like, how? Do you know how? Do you know a feature called audio description? Anybody in the audience has heard of this? Did you research this before I came here?
No, not. But there is a feature of audio description which I had went across Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it describes the scenes to you, right? When there are no dialogues. How cool is that? Like, I was watching a series with my niece the other day, some Korean drama thing. I was like, I don't do this Korean drama. She's like, you need to watch this. Yeah. So I watched it with her, and she was like, this is so cool. There were some scenes which even I did not understand, she was telling me, and which made me understand because of audio description. So you know what inclusion is, this where you can do something with someone else and their experience also gets enhanced, right? So that is what needs to happen, is what I feel.
Got it. That's the very important point. I think a lot of systems today are built for efficiency but not necessarily for inclusivity.
Yes.
This is what I can conclude from here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
But what I would like to add is accessibility also improves efficiency.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Because more people can, when they're trying to access the platform, like you can get more customers out of it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
More feedback.
they don't feel included into that, but you're trying to build something from which they get included into the platform.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
So moving on to the next question. Your journey clearly reflects turning challenges into strengths. What mindset shift helped you consistently move forward even during an uncertain phases?
Okay, so mindset shift is something that you need if you want to break any barriers, if you want to convert challenges, whatever, into opportunities, right? So the first thing that you got to do is remember one thing. Only thing that you can control.
Absolutely.
Your body is not entirely in your control. Do you know this, right? We can put in some food and some stuff in it, but your body is not entirely in your control. The only thing that you have in your control is your mind. So you can control your thoughts. You can put the right stuff going in, because we have this saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. Yeah. So if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So you need to surround yourself with the right people. Those people who say, you know what, Ankur, no, this is not for you, maybe you're not going to be able to do this, and all that, I cut them out. It was a difficult choice. It was a difficult decision for me, mind you, but I had to make that decision. I cut all of them out. Secondly, I don't follow any kind of negative stuff that is happening on social media or negative news on TV. Just cut them out. Anything negative, I just cut it out, right? Because you need to put your, fill your head with the right stuff. Also, as a kid, like I said, as a bit of a nerd, I still am a bit of a nerd. So reading is one of my hobbies. I don't think it's a hobby for anyone here, right? Does anybody read as a hobby? You will say yes just for the sake of it, but I know the truth. But if you really love to read, great for you, right? Great for you. So I listen to audiobooks now. So I have an app called Audible. So I've listened to some of the top audiobooks and some of the top authors and some of the top writers out there. That's what made me, realize how you shift your mindset, how you shift your mind to concentrating on the things that you can control, to building your own attitude, and then everything else falls in place. Now, if you yourself think, you know what, I can't do it, then you'll never be able to do it, right? So there's a saying, anybody has heard of this? If you believe you can, or you believe you can't, either way you are right. What does that mean? If you believe you can do something, or you believe you can't do something, you are right. Both ways you are right. So who decides whether you can do something or not? It's you. So it's you who needs to change that mindset. So surround yourself with the right people, the right support system, maybe your family, friends. Choose them wisely. Put in the right information, the right, consume the right sort of, content, news, etc. The right sort. Read the right stuff, the right things out there. And then I think your mindset shift can happen that way, right? Because positivity just does not come from, listening to motivational talks. You called my talk motivational. Let me tell you something. Motivation is perishable item. Do you know this? Just like your groceries, motivation is perishable. You walk out of this room, you forget what I spoke. In 10 minutes time, you're like, so inspirational, so this, so that, I want to do this. Next day, it all goes down the drain, right? So motivation is perishable. You need to take some action. So 3-4 things that you could do straight away, like I've told you, do them, and then you can slowly shift your mindset. And it's not an overnight process, man. Like mindset shift does not happen like yesterday I turned on the switch and today I'm positive, right? It took a long time. I had to go through a depression and everything else, right? So you need to use everything that happens in your life, even the negative stuff, and then probably, you're going to build that mindset up. So it needs time.
Got it, sir.
I hope that answers your question.
Yes, indeed, sir. That's really powerful, and I think that mindset is something everyone here can take back.
Yes,
indeed.
Sure.
So moving on to the next question. You work closely with large organizations and decision makers.
Yes.
How do you see institutions like us collaborating or contributing towards building more inclusive digital systems?
Yeah, for sure. So first thing is, I don't know how many people were aware about accessibility before I walked in. Okay. Honest to God, how many people were actually aware here? I don't know. I'm not blaming you because this is something that we don't discuss, right? So I feel as computer science, I think we are all computer science people here, all computer engineering people.
Yes, almost.
We should be aware about accessibility right at the start. So, even before you start doing anything in terms of web, mobile, etc., accessibility has to be built in as one of the topics that you discuss in your curriculum. It should be discussed at your management level, at board level, saying that, how can we make our infrastructure accessible? I'm pretty sure your physical infrastructure is pretty good. Like if someone comes with a wheelchair, I think you have ramps, you have lifts, you have, few other things.
Yes.
The first thing you can do is you can actually get it measured, like how accessible are you as an organization in terms of your physical accessibility, in terms of your digital infrastructure, like your websites, your apps, your internal tools. Are you really, accessible? Are you really usable? You can start from there. Secondly, you can start, training your, faculty, your ID teams, etc. on how do you maintain inclusiveness, maintain accessibility. Because see, a lot of organizations start well, like I said, HDFC, so it was pretty accessible. 3 months back, they broke. That means they don't have the system to monitor, to govern, right? So we need a system that continuously monitors accessibility. There should be governance. Do we have an accessibility policy? Are we, who is responsible for accessibility in our organization? Do we know that? If we don't, then that's the first place we start, right? Now, as an organization, as an educational organization, of course, the first thing you can, embed is in students. If students here today know what is accessibility, tomorrow, so let's say you go and work in organizations like, say, Accenture or TCS or any other, major organizations, you will already embed accessibility in your workflow, right? So, as students, start from the curriculum. As an organization, start with your own infrastructure, start with training, start with workshops, start with monitoring, and start with governance. That's how we can, embed accessibility right from the start.
Got it.
Yeah.
That was really insightful, and I think it opens a lot of possibilities for institution like ours.
Yes.
So moving on to the last $1 million question.
$1 million, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you had to leave this room with one thought for every student sitting here, something they should remember even 5 years down the line,
yes,
what would it be?
Okay. So I have basically created a line which goes like this. So it's like fail fast, learn faster. Okay. You might have heard a lot of talks, etc., which say, Silicon Valley talks, etc. They say we need to fail fast, but they don't tell you what do you mean by failing fast, right? Fail fast doesn't mean you fail my exams. Yeah. So don't go home and tell your parents, you know what? There was a speaker today, blind guy told us to fail. That's not what it means, right? Fail fast means you need to experiment. I'll give an example. So when I was doing my computer science practicals, right? And there was a program, we had to complete the program, right? I used to complete it. And then I used to do all kinds of nonsense on it to see where will this break. Yeah, that is called failing fast. So I wanted my program to fail in all kinds of ways so that I could learn faster and implement better guardrails or better tech, right? You need to do that with yourself. Fail fast yourself at knowing what is it that you love, what is it that you enjoy, what is it that you don't like, right? Yes. Fail fast with your own experiments, with your own tech, with your own tools or whatever that is, but learn faster. So you need that feedback cycle, right? You fail, then you learn. You fail, you learn. Because humans, remember, are wired only to learn by failing. Do you know this? For millions of years, we have learned just by failing, right? And a lot of people don't talk about failure. I've talked about my failures openly in public. You need to embrace failure, but you need to learn faster from it, make yourself better, and then you can succeed. So one line, it's trademarked, by the way. You can't use it anywhere without my permission.
It's patented.
Fail fast, learn faster. That's what I'm going to say.
Yes, thank you so much for that, sir. I guess the audience have got the idea about that.
Thank you so much.
So it's been a long time we both are interacting on the stage. Now I open the stage for the audience. If anyone would like to ask any question, the stage is yours.
Sure.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Pranav Kerekar.
Yes.
So my question is when you're building a startup, what is that one misconception that the people have and that needs to be broken?
People as in the people who are building the startup or other people around?
Operating the startup.
Operating the startup, right? Okay. So, okay, there are quite a few myths, okay? So I'm going to burst a few. Number one, right? It's so cool, people think, building a startup, right? Look at my hair, tells you a story. Look, the interviews and all the shiny stuff that you see on television, these are 1% or 0.1% people that have succeeded. There are 99.9% startups that fail. Do you know this? Yeah, I was just reading, a report about startups in India. There were 30,000 startups that shut down last year. Unfortunate, very unfortunate, right? So it's so cool. It feels so great. You know what? I'm a startup founder. Yeah, but the thing is, are you actually really solving a real problem, or are you just doing this for vanity? Number one, myth, right? A lot of startups build a product just for the sake of building a product. Like they're saying, I have a product startup. Feels cool, feels nice, right? But are you actually solving a real problem in the world? Like for example, in Clusier, it came from my own frustration, my own problem, right? And that's a problem that I'm trying to solve at a larger scale. It's a genuine problem. I don't know whether my startup will succeed or whether we have to fold in the next 2 to 3 years. But it's actually a real problem that we want to solve. So pick a real problem that you want to solve. A lot of startups are in this vanity mode. We have started something, but they're not really solving a real problem. Second thing is, don't be fooled by all the hype that you see on television and etc. Series A round of $1 million, Series B round of 100 million. This is the 0.1%. 99.9% fail. So to get there, you need to slog. Right? You need to break a lot of things, including your own self, to get there. Right? So that's another myth. Third myth is, a lot of people think you need like a lot of capital, etc. to start. That's not actually true. We started our company with a budget of 10,000 Indian rupees. That's all, right? So all it takes is probably a license, probably an incubator. You have a wonderful incubator here, like a fire, right? So you can go join one of these. They will help you to, think through, like, are you solving a real problem? How do you position it? How do you build a business model? How do you actually make money? Because remember one thing, if your startup is not actually making money, it's going to die soon, right? So a lot of people are thinking burning money and all of that is good. A lot of hype is built around that. You know what? We are burning money, investors' money. What I would say is, build something that can help you get to revenue fast, okay, and is profitable fast, and from there you can build it up. So another myth is, we're going to build something, let it burn, we'll make it profitable in 2-3 years time. Build it or make it profitable as soon as possible. That's another thing that I would like to tell you. It's a myth that we need to bust. There are a lot of others I can't get right now, but I hope that answers your question. Any other myth that you want to throw at me, and probably I can burst it. Any of you, probably we can do that as well. If not, we can move on to the next question.
How did you manage your studies as well as a startup?
No, I did my startup after my studies, right? So I finished my masters and then I started my company. Yeah, so I didn't have to juggle these two together. But I know a couple of people who are right now studying, but they are also building their own company, and that's so cool. Like, I'm mentoring a person here, in Rosary College, who's building a startup of his own, right? And he's also studying. So I asked him, like, how do you manage this? So he was like, I have dedicated time slots for my studies, and I have dedicated time slot for my company, like my startup that I'm building, right? So one thing is, you can block your time, number one. Number two is, if you're really in a very rigorous environment in terms of studies, then it's going to be very difficult for you to find time, right? But you'll have to find some extra time, maybe, weekends or something. You'll have to give up, you'll have to sacrifice something for your own startup. So you can't build a company and study and also probably go out on the weekends with your friends. Probably somewhere you'll have to make some sacrifice, right? I'm not saying don't enjoy your life, but probably some sacrifices are required somewhere. So I won't know myself because I have not done it, but this is from somebody else's experience, right? Who's managed like studies and a company together, is managing rather.
Yes, thank you, sir. That's answer my question.
Cool.
Yes. I guess we can take one more question from the audience. Yeah, maybe. Anyone? I guess we can take one more as well.
Good morning, sir. My name is Basil, and I'm a second-year computer engineering student.
Yes.
So my question is that, as someone who's working closely with leadership teams, how do you manage to make difficult decisions while having no clear right answer?
Yeah, so this is a really good question, because we have to do this all the time, right? See, sometimes you have to make some decisions without knowing what the consequences are going to be, because see, when you're in a startup environment, right, a lot of things happen very fast. Yeah, so technology is changing so fast. Frameworks are being born like every 6 months. Yeah, something called Jamstack, if anybody remembers here. It was the hype back in 2018. Jamstack, heard of it? JavaScript, APIs, and something else. Where is it now? It's gone, right? So technology comes, technology disappears. A lot of decisions have to be made, like, in a split second. So sometimes you have to choose between two options and choose like the lesser of the two evils, as they say, something like that. Because in a startup world, there is no certainty, right? We operate all the time from uncertainty. And that's what entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship basically means you are in an uncertain environment. You need to make certain decisions without really knowing whether it's going to be a success or not. If it is successful, you're going to get a lot of appreciation. If it is unsuccessful, you have to take all the slack. As a startup founder, I always tell everyone, you need to have a very strong chin, right? Because you need to take a lot of blows on your chin. I've made so many decisions, I regret making those now, but they are, that's what happens in hindsight, right? When you're making a decision, you don't have hindsight, you only have foresight. Yeah, you can only see what is ahead. But here is something you can learn from other people's mistakes. A lot of people don't do it. You can read from history what other people have done, how they have messed up, and probably don't take those calls. Also, another thing that helps is have a mentor by your side, someone whom you can trust with anything. So I have a couple of business mentors whom I ask before I take any decision. So from their experience, I can relate to whatever, and then you can probably take your decisions. But let me tell you one thing, there is no right way of making a decision in the startup world, because it is such an uncertain environment, right? It all works on probability. So if there's a 50% chance of you succeeding, I'm like, go for it, right? So that is my style. I have a pretty different way of leading. A lot of other people have a different way of leading. I lead with a way called servant leadership. So I treat all of my people like, the same. I ask them, how can I make your lives better? How can we make this better? So I involve all of them in the decision making process, but the final decision is my own, right? So I have to operate with uncertainty, with probability, and with the right mentorship and guidance, and hope that this decision turns out to be good, right? And we are not the 99% that fold, right? So that's always the fear. But entrepreneurship is all about embracing that uncertainty. That's why I said you need the right ecosystem, the right people around you, your mentors, your teachers, your friends, your parents, and maybe ecosystems like a fire, like other ecosystems that you have out there, like say a Thai Global or something, right? Like a BNI that I'm a part of, Business Network International. So you need organizations like this to be with you so that you can make the right calls. I hope that answers your question. I'm like, yeah, that's not pretty specific, but that's the best I can do, mate.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, I can take one last question mostly over there.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I have two questions.
Sure.
You spoke about taking in some positive content through audiobooks. So what are some that genuinely influenced your mindset?
Yes. And what is the second one?
And the second one is, I personally faced this problem. How do you take action quickly even when you don't feel like it? Are there any systems or processes you put in place?
Okay, cool. Really deep questions. Did you get them off ChatGPT or something? I'm just pulling your leg, man. Yeah. So the first one, audiobooks, right? Okay. So I'll give you a list. Okay, may not be like in that particular order, right? But see, I listen to everything, right? From fiction, non-fiction, everything. Yeah. I'm a massive Harry Potter audiobook fan. I know what you're thinking right now. That's like a kid book stuff, right? It's actually not. Right? Whenever I am facing any kind of problem, I go back to my Harry Potter audiobooks. So they are narrated by a narrator called Stephen Fry. Have you heard of him? He's an actor. He's a British actor. Right? Wonderful narration. If you can get hold of them, please. The Harry Potter audiobooks. They don't give you any business lessons, but they are actually good to relax your mind, right? So I always go back to those as a fiction side of things. Non-fiction. I'll give you some books. Number one is Good Strategy, Bad Strategy. This is done by Richard Rumert, I think his name is. Yeah, Richard Rumert. This is for entrepreneurs or those who are thinking of becoming entrepreneurs. Okay, how do you put in good strategy into place and what is bad strategy? This is a very good book, right? Then I have Rich Dad Poor Dad by what's his name, Robert Kiyosaki. It's a pretty good book that you can listen to. Gives you a good understanding of how the financial world works, what it is to use other people's money than your own money, or using other people's time than your own time, so that you can become richer faster. Rich Dad Poor Dad is very good that way, right? Alchemy by Rory Sutherland shows you how to think completely differently, right? It's a very good book if you want to advertise, market, etc., right? There is one by Josh Kaufman, a personal MBA. This is for someone who wants to start a company. This is a very good book, the personal MBA, right? Apart from this, some that I'm not getting the things off the top of my head. Naval Ravikant has written a very good one, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. You can read that, amazing book. Old Charlie's Almanac. This is by Charlie Munger. He was the co-founder with Warren Buffett, if you know, for Berkshire Hathaway. Very good book, and a lot of others. Maybe I can text you this on WhatsApp if you can drop me a line, right? So many other books that are out there. Fiction wise, like I said, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, amazing. The series, the series does not live up to the books. The books are amazing, so I always go back just to relax myself. And the second question was, are there any processes or systems that I put in place? Yes and no. Yes, I use Charlie Munger's model called inversion. Okay, so he gives you a mental model called inversion. He says invert, always invert. Now what that means is, we always think positive when we take a decision, right? And we say, how is this going to go right? What he says is, flip it around. Think about all the ways in which this can go wrong, right? You have an idea, think about it in all the ways this idea can go wrong, and then avoid those things. Yeah, very good way to succeed. Inversion, it's called. Invert, always invert, he says. Another thing is what I have developed myself. It is called the ASK framework, ASK. You can go check it out on my, again, I'm doing a little bit of marketing here. Check out my YouTube, TEDx talk. It is called From Darkness to Light, where I talk about this framework called Accept, Seek, Kindle. So this is something I have developed myself. So the first step is to accept anything before you take a decision, right? Whether you want to do something, whether you want to study or whatever, accept whatever you have. Accept if you don't have the right skill sets, accept that you don't have the right skill sets. If you don't have the right mindset, accept that you don't have the right mindset, right? So acceptance is the first step. Second is seek. So you find who can actually help you, whether these are people around you, or do you need to reach out to somebody else? Are these teachers, are these friends, are these mentors? Who are these? Seek, right? And the last one is Kindle. Now, once you accept, once you seek, you need to find out what are your own core values. What are the things that actually drive you, right? Is it freedom? Is it honesty? Is it integrity? Is it something else? You need to find out your own core values. And then based on that, you need to find a purpose. What is your purpose in life to solve, right? What is it that you're looking for? Yeah. So this is a broader sort of a framework that you can use. One quick thing that you can do to stop procrastination, I use the Pomodoro technique. Anybody here aware about the Pomodoro?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically put in a time slot of about half an hour or 55, 1 hour, whatever it's comfortable for you. Say I'm going to complete an XYZ task in this 30 minutes. Don't get up until that is done. Sometimes you realize it is, once you start, right, it is harder to stop. Has anybody realized this? You start that I'm going to do this for the next 5 minutes, you end up an hour or 2 hours doing the same thing, right? So Pomodoro is something that you can use. Another thing I use is, one task per slot. Like I say, I'm going to do, and it's also called the most important task, MIT technique, most important task. So put that in front of you. This is my most important task. I'm going to finish this off by say 12 p.m. Put a deadline to it. I'm going to finish this by 12 p.m. Otherwise, I'm not going to give myself that extra time to, watch Netflix or maybe do something else. So you do that and then you reward yourself with some sort of a reward, right? That also works. Like for example, I say I'm going to spend half an hour on Netflix if I do this by this deadline. That also works. Yeah. So these are some of the things that I personally use. I don't know whether these are great things or whatever, but these are things that I use myself. I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ankur, for sharing your invaluable insights and inspiring journey with us today. We truly hope our audience has gained both inspiration and practical wisdom from this discussion what we had.
I hope as well. Yeah.
Now, as we close this memorable session, I request you to kindly come forward and accept a memento and stand for a group picture.
Sure. Do we need to take this off? No.
We'll take that. Professor will come back.
Yes.
We just need to take one photo there.
Sure. Done? Yes.
Requesting all our speakers along with the principal, HOD, event coordinator to join us for a group photograph.
Requesting our registrar to please join and all our faculties of computer engineering department for the photograph. Requesting all the faculties, requesting Kevin also to join us, Vidya ma'am also to join us.
Wonderfully and making them truly engaging. May I request all the moderators to kindly come forward, and I invite Professor Janvi Shetilve to present them with a token of appreciation.
Requesting all our moderators to come along with Shania. Requesting Juveria to please come forward. So I'm pretty much sure that our speakers were fantastic and our moderators along with our MC also did a fantastic job. So can we have a round of applause to each one of them?
Thank you, ma'am. We would now like to express our heartfelt appreciation to our sponsors for their invaluable support. I request our HOD, Dr. Goran Patkar, to kindly present a memento to Mr. Vijay Kumar Kayali Parambil, Business Development Manager from Service Global. May I request Mr. Vijay Kumar to kindly come forward and accept this token of our gratitude. Thank you, sir. I request our Dreambig faculty coordinator, Ms. Dbce Dreambig, to kindly come forward and present this memento to Ms. Nandita Shirvant, Senior Account Partner from Badami Private Limited. Thank you, ma'am. To formally conclude this event, I invite Professor Dbce Dreambig to deliver the vote of thanks.
It's 12:35. I will take exactly 2 more minutes. So students, are you all with me? Yes. The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. A very good afternoon to one and all present. On behalf of Department of Computer Engineering, I extend my heartfelt vote of thanks to everyone who contributed to the success of Dbce Dreambig 2026. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Father Wilfred Fernandez for his constant support and blessings, and to our principal, Dr. Neena Panandikar, for providing us with the platform and encouragement to organize such a meaningful event. A very special thanks to our head of department, Dr. Goran Patkar, for his unwavering support, constant encouragement and guidance. His belief in our ideas and readiness to support every initiative has been the strong driving force behind the success of the events like Dreambig. We are deeply grateful to our esteemed speakers, Mr. Sumukh Kamath, Ms. Asha Arundekar, and Mr. Ankur Kankonkar for taking out their valuable time and sharing their knowledge, expertise, and insight. Your interaction has truly inspired our students and enriched their learning beyond the classroom. I will also like to thank all our faculty members, teaching and non-teaching staff for their support and coordination throughout the event. A special note of gratitude to Mr. Aloysius, Mr. Jai Prakash, Mr. Romeo, Mr. Nevis, and Ms. Sandra for their valuable support. A special appreciation to Mr. Marco, T computer student, for efficiently managing the live streaming of the entire event. The other faculties just noted me down that the live stream is going well and I can sit in my own cabin and watch the entire event. A big thank you to our student moderator, Mr. Eric, Ms. Juveria, Mr. Srinivas, and Ms. Shania, the cherry on the cake, who conducted these sessions so effectively and made them engaging and insightful. To all our students, especially the team handling the reception, stationery, technical, design, support, and mainly the refreshment committee, which is still standing backward. Thank you for your enthusiastic participation and teamwork. A special shout out to all the students from second year, third year, and final year for attending in large numbers and making the event lively and successful. Lastly, heartfelt appreciation to the entire organizing team for their dedication, coordination, and tireless effort in making this technical event a grand success. As rightly said in Bhagavad Gita, Karmandi Vadika Raste, we are reminded to focus on our efforts and action. Today's event stands as a result of the sincere efforts of many individuals. With this, we conclude our Dbce Dreambig 2026. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Refreshments are arranged for students outside B Civil Classroom, and you can collect your certificates from there as well. Please feel free to join, interact, and network. Once again, thank you all for being a part of Dbce Dreambig 2026. Keep learning, keep innovating, and always remember to dream big. Yay. Dream big.